Starting live. And we are live. Once again, I have returned from the wastelands of the internet. And I've brought with me, well, Batman. Well, maybe Batman. He says that he's Mortimer. How are you doing? It's been a while since you've been on the show. Oh, do you? More pain for the fans. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, okay, let's get started. I'm going to go over three quick stories here, real quick, in succession. Wagner forces edge closer to Moscow after making sinister threat to Putin as tanks are spotted on highways and an oil depot goes up in flames, with warlord Prigozhin, Prigozhin, all right, mocking Russian leaders' calls for traitors to give themselves up. Okay, uh, Russia's Wagner military force are headed towards Moscow on Saturday after Chief, I'm not going to butcher your name again, initiated a military coup against Putin and his regime, which has seen the group take key cities and mock the president, who called them traitors. Putin addressed the Russian people on Saturday, warning that the military leader had stabbed him in the back as Moscow is on lockdown as troops dig in preparation to defend the city. The warlord has and his feared 25,000 strong Wagner military or militia, excuse me, have controlled the southern Russian city of Rostov on Don. All right, saying that they are ready to die as they vow revenge for a military strike from Putin's forces that the military leader says killed some of his men. Okay, okay, and then we're going to go to this story. The Russians coup, Putin's plane leaves Moscow amid armed rebellion. The plane, belonging to Russian President Vladimir Putin, departed from Moscow to St. Petersburg early Saturday as the Kremlin attempts to quiet an armed rebellion from Wagner. And so Putin is fleeing. And then we have this last one here is famous Belarusian airborne officer to the Belarusian military. We must promptly decide what to do. Well, it's not. It's Valley Sakhasanyak. Right? We'll just call it Varley. Um, Valerie. Valerie? Valerie. Okay, Valerie. Founder of the first separate air assault company. I'm not trying to butcher your name, sir. I just can't pronounce names. All right. Armed Forces of the Ukraine has addressed the Belarusian military amidst the Wagner Group's rebellion in Russia and stated, "We need to decide what to do." All right. We do not know for sure what will happen tomorrow. Perhaps the warlord will win, conscript half the population of Russia, and bombard Ukraine with cannon fodder. We know something else. The pro Russian path that Lushenko has been leading the country on for all these years has led us to a dead end. We are now standing on a road with a barrier and a dead end sign in front of us. We will have to decide what to do next and decide quickly. Okay. For those who want to see these stories and where we got them at. Okay, let's talk about this for a moment because this is somewhat for me a bit unexpected, but at the same time not a huge surprise. All right, what's a surprise is to me that the warlord actually convinced his troops to follow him. Not that they would try to take a punch of this. Well, the it wasn't just that. I think that one of the problems with the Wagner militia, right, was they were being used as cannon fodder, and they took the brunt of the fighting, and they did. In this early on, they took the brunt of the fighting, and they did a lot of the dirty work, and they were being blamed. And you can look at it; they were being blamed for all sorts of atrocities. This is a hardcore unit. And what's more is they're trying to claim now that these guys are not mercenaries. They're being called the N word. The N word, yes, the N word. No, no. Mustache enthusiasts. Yes, yes, yes. They're being called followers of the Charlie Chaplin impersonator. Okay. Um. Now, okay. I don't know anything about the group, the Wagner group, aside from what's been reported in the news. Okay, and watching their actions and interpretations on how they've been working. Okay, I do know that a lot of the Wagner group has a large element within it of Chechens. Okay, and the Chechens are not, they were used as cannon fodder, and I do believe that Putin was using these guys, all right, the way that their military was using them, was to get rid of them. I do believe that. I do believe they were using them as cannon fodder to take the brunt of these actions, right, and die. Well, it reduces Chechnya as a threat overall. So it kind of depends on your viewpoint, all right? Now, Russia, I've said this before. Right, right. But he wants Russia the way Russia used to be. The way he views the Ukraine is part of Russia. Belarus is part of Russia. Chechnya is part of Russia. Okay, this is the Russian Empire. Okay, just in modern day, without the nobility behind it. Okay, if Trump would have won, okay, Zelensky would have been on much more under much more pressure, all right, to come to terms with with not just not just Russia, right, but also with the rest of the nation, all right, or the rest of the things, right? Hello, Sherardi. How are you? So the thing though is now what the way Putin is looking at this is just an expansion of the Civil War. Okay, there's not really any real difference, all right, from in his mind to them and what's happening in the Ukraine. And the guy from the Belarus, the reason I sit up there and did that story was because Belarus is also a part of that as well. They're also looked upon that as a part of Russia, all right, and that from Putin's point of view, they're possibly the next domino to fall. Well, it is pushing it too fast without a an understanding of where nationalism can lead. Right, and this goes back to the differences ethnically in the various different regions. Remember, Russia, even the Soviet Union, if you want to talk about the Soviet Union, really they were an empire built on the old styles of World War One. Right, and initially the new masters were good from their perspective because they modernized as far as industrialized. They industrialized the state. Okay, uh, that doesn't mean that they were happy about their freedom or anything else, but they industrialized it, so they had it. When you industrialize, you get more free time, and you get more. Generally, you get more food. All right. Now it took them a few years to get that done, and some people like use that against the Ukrainians, which the Ukrainians now, even to this day, remember very much, where the Ukrainians were starved to death under Stalin. All right. They were starved into submission, folks, and it was intentional. When people are dying of starvation, I don't think people understand people dying of starvation. And there wasn't a war. Okay, understand this. They weren't, you know. So the Ukrainians ethnically are not Russian, but the question has always been about their defensible borders. Well, linguistically, Ukrainian is different slightly than Russian. It, they do have it's more than a dialect difference. Okay, but that still doesn't change the dynamics of the fact that you don't have defensible borders when you got a flat plain. Now, they are trying to prove everybody wrong um, with what they're doing. Okay, Putin is basically taking the one area from them, which is the Donetsk region, right? Which is really leads to a defensible border along the Dnieper River. Okay, that's what Putin's first objective was. Also, the Donetsk region has a lot of the oil, right? So they were robbing the Ukrainians of everything except for the oil, or except for excuse me the food. They are a huge food wheat producing nation. Okay, it would have been all right. There's no doubt in my mind. Okay, now he has an advantage in the Donetsk region. People don't talk about it at all, right? But the biggest advantage he has in there is a good portion, 2/3 of the population in that region, are ethnically Russian. They're not Ukrainian. Okay, and it's even a higher percentage are ethnically Russian in the Crimea. So when people start talking about this, given the Crimea to the Ukrainians, which what you were saying before was Yeltsin's plan, right? That was dumb to begin with. Okay, so a lot of these things have fed together to lead to this situation. Now, like I was saying before, I'm kind of surprised that they've gotten as far as they have, the Wagner Group, right? In declaring that we're going to take over, or we're going to fight against Putin. The question now is whether or not people join the Wagner Group to help them oust Putin. All right, that's what you're looking at now. Well, Putin is. Let's be honest. Putin is not a well man to begin with. There's a lot of people who are talking about how he is suffering several illnesses, not the least of which is cancer. Okay, he is in his 70s, all right, and cancer takes a toll on the body. And let's be perfectly frank here: while he's getting the best care Russia that you can get in Russia, the care in Russia compared to the care in the United States, there's a lot of differences. Yeah, even at his level. Oh no, I agree. But the best care in the United States compared to the best care in Russia, there's a distinct difference. Okay, I'm not saying that he's. I'm not trying to bash this, but the reality is he's now all right. And what's more is he is a tough sob. Right, physically he is a tough son of a bitch. All right, he was at KGB. I'm not sure if he was in the Spetsnaz early on in his life. Right, but he's been an officer, one of the frontline officers. He's not one of the guys in the back. Okay, during the dissolution of East Germany, okay, he was there, and he literally, by force of will, prevented an attack. All right, on the KGB headquarters that he was running by going out and confronting a mob by himself. Okay, people, that takes. Go ahead. Yes. Okay. So I mean, you got to take Putin for what he is. There's he. You can talk about his good side. You can talk about his bad side. You have to take. You can't just focus on one aspect of the man. He's a man. Okay, and you got to take him for that from that point of view. The question still remains though. What does the rest of Russia do? Okay, Belarus is the key to this. And this is why I was talking about that story. The guy there is pointing out that if from Belarus's standpoint, there is no good option, but they have to pick a side. They can't stay quiet. You can't stay in the middle of this. Exactly. All right. At this point in time, it doesn't matter. I had an instructor in primary leadership development when I was in the army, going through PLDC, which is the group that is training you to become an NCO. Right. Once you get your rank, you go through your sergeant stripes. They send you to school. I was not I was not in the mustache man's youth. All right. we Anyway, one of my instructors was a guy who had been in the Dominican Republic when the Americans moved in. All right, during during one of their uprisings, for lack of a better term. Okay, and the U.S. was called to quell it or to protect American interests. Okay, and he was a young kid. He said he was 10. Okay, 10 years old. He said his father came in, right, got got the boys of the family together, handed them all a gun, right, and said, "Go out and pick a side." said, I don't care what side you fight on. Remember that you're brothers. I don't care what side you fight on. You can choose different sides. I don't care. I said, but you can't stay in the middle. Pick a side, because you stay in the middle, you're just going to get shot. And he actually he admitted that he had chosen the side to fight against the Americans. One of the American soldiers basically grabbed him, took his gun away, spanked him, and freaking they put him in a camp where he ended up immigrating, of course, to the United States from there, right? Because he was a 10-year-old running around like, right, right. Well, it was good for him in the sense that he loved the country. He became an American citizen, right, and he was willing to fight and die for the country. Okay, this was back in the late '80s. Okay, just to tell you what time frame this was. Now, it's unfortunate how these things work. Okay, Sharani wants me to pick a different picture. I guess I'll figure out which one I want to use later. Okay, no, that's good. I will figure out which one I want to use. All right, I'll put it on there. And think so. I don't know. The ones she sent me are actually pretty good. I kind of like the ones that she sent me. I'll have to look at them. I'll have to figure this out, but I'm not going to do it right at the moment. So. Uh-huh. I don't have a Cyberg story. That was last week. I had some good ones. uh, anyway, let's go on to the next story. Okay, shall we? Police raid headquarters of Paris Olympic organizers. Right, raids carried out at the headquarters of the committee, which is known as COJO. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correct. At the offices of Solidio. Well, okay, how would you pronounce it? Cujo? Cuju? All right. The body in charge of the Olympic construction sites, a source close to the investigation told AFP. The reason for the raid was not immediately clear, but Kojo said that they were cooperating fully with the investigation in order to facilitate their investigation. They were taking bribes. Let's be honest. All right, let's be perfectly honest here. The International Olympic Committees are corrupt. They're as corrupt as you possibly can be. Oh, FIFA is horrific. Oh, we'll be talking about the sub in a moment. Don't worry. And on that note, she's not wrong. Let's go. Okay, let's go this. Let's do this story. Well, that's true. All right, on to the sub story. You said you wanted to talk about the sub story, and then you went on a tirade. And, okay, the follow the timeline of the Titan submersible's journey from departure to tragic discovery. The buildup. The Polar Prince, a Canadian icebreaker ship, steamed out of Newfoundland on Friday, June 16th, towing an experimental Titan submersible and carrying the five-man team headed to explore the iconic ocean liner's watery gravesite. 3 missions involving other teams had been scrapped due to bad weather in the previous 4 weeks, but the latest Ocean Gate Expeditions group was hopeful. The weather window has just opened up, and we're going to attempt a dive tomorrow, the renowned adventurer Hamish Harding said on Saturday. Hamish Harding, said on Saturday on Instagram. More expedition updates to follow if the weather holds. Moving about the Polar Prince, mission participants were required to wear water-activated life vests, bright orange jackets, helmets, and steel-toed boots, said Arnie Weissman, a journalist who spent 8 days aboard the support ship in May before his mission was aborted. Just before the dive, they changed into fleece vests, black flight suits bearing Ocean Gate logo, and warm socks. No shoes were allowed on the submersible. The team then carried to the Titan's launcher and recovery platform by one of the 2 inflatable dinghies named Stewie and Max. Right? Once inside, they would sit on a platform with their legs crossed or out straight. This has got to be the most uncomfortable method of doing this. Okay, and then it disappeared. Okay. Now, where are we with what we found? Okay. There's been a number of revelations that has happened, right? First of all, an hour in about 40 minutes in, they lost contact with the sub. They lost contact. It was sudden, and that was it. At which point everyone was like, okay, something has happened. Now, so of course they searched for it, and then of course they eventually found the wreckage of what has happened. We don't know exactly what has happened, but we do believe that the sub, obviously, there was an obvious implosion. We don't know exactly how it happened, but a sudden implosion is what has been reported to have been heard by our military. That could be one. There's several other reasons that this could have happened. Not the least of which is he was using carbon fiber rather than steel and titanium, and they were going deep. And one of the things about carbon fiber is, yeah, it's strong, but that doesn't mean it's impervious. And previous adventurers had heard cracking, all right, on the hull. Well, a kraken got it. It could have been a kraken, or it could have been orcas. No, it does not. And so there's a lot of people who are warning about this thing being unsafe. But we really don't know what happened, and considering what pods of orcas are doing lately, maybe the orcas found it and decided enough's enough. A pod of orcas interrupted a boat race in the Atlantic Ocean, ramming 2 vessels during the competition. A pod of orcas rammed into 2 boats on Thursdays, causing them to get off track in the middle of the ocean race competition. During the grueling months-long competition, participants travel over 300 or 36,000 miles around the world in sailboats. The ocean race representatives said in a statement that the 2 of the VO65 boats involved in the race had direct encounters with orcas during a recent leg of the competition in the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know if it's quite that bad. The killer whales pushed up against the boats belonging to Team JAJO and Mirpuri, all right, Trifork Racing, the Ocean Race said. In one instance, the Ocean Race said the pod of killer whales was ramming into the boats and nudging and biting at the rudders. No, that's not true. Yes, no, that's straight true. And these orcas, the ones that are having the issue, were nowhere near the, the the Titanic wreck. Actually, all right, these orcas are off of Gibraltar, right? It's a that's true, but the reports are a lot of there's a lot of reports off of Gibraltar where they're talking about this. They can communicate around the for long distances. I don't know about around the world, but they can definitely do this. And it's unfortunate that for these guys in that boat. But when you're dealing with an experimental submarine, quite frankly, and going to the depths that they were talking about, where the Titanic actually is, especially, see, I can't see a reason. There was somebody that pointed something out, which is very true. You can't even see the wreck. There are no portholes in this thing, all right, where people can look out and see. Everything is you're viewing it on a computer screen, right? They have cameras on the sides that show you what's going on around there. You can do that with an ROV sitting up, up on the ship at the top. Why did you? What? How is the experience getting into this thing? She's going in for an upgrade. You're just saying that she's going in for a software update. That's what happens when you turn your Apple antenna off. Now, there is one last thing I want to say about the sub, and that is people are complaining because the United States Navy reported that they had heard the implosion and that they had reported it right away. But people were not told this until they found the wreckage. Okay, and they were like, "Well, why didn't you tell us all this to begin with?" Well, because that's not how these kind of systems work. Okay, and people don't understand this. The way military intelligence works, and this is very true. Far too often, they require actual visual confirmation before they sit up there and say, "This is what happened." Okay, there. How about now? Can he be heard?
Can you hear me now, mother?
We'll wait for Chris. Good morning, Chris. So the the the, the way these things work, okay, as far as military intelligence goes, yes, you hear something that you're pretty damn sure is an
Can
important.
you hear me now? Yep, I can be heard. I just checked.
Oh, did you? Okay, you can be heard. So
And hello, Chris.
once once you get to the point where you believe this has happened, okay, that doesn't mean you're going to report it to the public. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, there's another story you're going to be doing later that they were trying to hide from people. All right, so they had everybody worried about this sub and hoping for the best, and even I was hoping for the best. I'll be honest with
The
you.
only people who weren't hoping for the best were the likes of Asher Carr, who was complaining that there's millionaires spending 250,000 to go and see the Titanic. Obviously, aren't being taxed enough.
Well, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, she
Look,
proved that she's actually uglier on the inside than she is on the outside.
the reality, he was not, she wasn't the only one. There was several others that were
No,
also upset about this. But the reality is, look, when you have that much money, you're going to spend it however you want. Don't come back and
yeah,
tell me that how you would spend that money, because I guarantee you, all right, you're not going to spend it the way you're saying you want other people to spend their money. You're not. I know what people are like. There's a lot of these people who are billionaires. I'll bet money that this guy who died, right? Because I've already heard several things about him. He's not a conservative,
oh,
okay?
he's a lefty.
He's a hardcore leftist piece of garbage.
Well, not anymore, he isn't.
Well, now he's squished, okay?
Yeah,
And that's another thing. When an implosion happens, what happens to the body
is what happens to the sub.
is
The
yes,
one consolation is they would have died quickly.
Now I want a sub. Like, really, really bad.
You want
One
the
with
one that
a lot
Admiral
of meat
Nelson.
and veg.
You want the sub that Admiral Nelson had, don't you?
No, I mean a sandwich.
Ah, well, Admiral Nelson had a
Not
sub.
the one that was in the ocean.
Uh,
They were stupid enough to go that deep.
yeah.
Or
Well,
fuck a fish.
the journey to the what journey under the sea, isn't that what it's called or something like that?
Pardon?
The Admiral Nelson, the guy in that
No,
stupid
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
voyage in the sea.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the glass fronted sub.
Yes.
But it wasn't actually glass. It was transparent metal.
It can be transparent metal all you want, but if it's
But,
not the same
no,
kind
but
of metal, if it's not joined as the same kind of with the other kind of metal, how are we going to go forward with
I think it probably was. I mean, it was science fiction,
it? Of course.
so you
So
could
it
get away
was
with a bit
way
more.
back in the day, and people go down, and the first problem that you have going down to the depths of past 100 feet, and this is true no matter what. You can't see shit. There's no light.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the light you take with you doesn't penetrate very far because
No.
of the pollutants in the particulates in the water.
Yeah, I wouldn't say pollutants yet. I would say particulates. Look, that's the way it is. Okay, you can't see any real distance in the light with the lights that you carry with you either. Right, 100 feet. If you can see more than 100 feet, you're kicking ass. You might have brought something like the sun with you.
Yeah, or you're in the Caribbean where the water is remarkably clear,
Yeah.
or
Well,
the Aegean.
there are clear things where you can see for feet, but even then, once you get past 100 feet, seeing down is impossible. And this thing was what
Yeah.
2,000 feet down.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the North Sea, right where the oil rigs are, you don't have to go very deep, and the visibility is dropping off rapidly.
Yeah.
I still think it was the Kraken that got him.
All right. Well, I think it might have been the Orcas. Anyway, let's go to the next story.
I actually think it was the Submariner.
Namor. Video shows Central Park dog killer casually walking away after a vicious attack. You killed my dog, you piece of shit. Owner of a dog savagely stabbed to death in Central Park over the weekend cried out, "You killed my dog, you piece of shit," as the heartless attacker fled with his own pups. Dramatic video shows the clip taken by a witness to the heated Saturday night clash and obtained by WABC shows the moments after a 14-year-old pit bull German Shepherd mix Eli was mortally wounded by another pet owner at the park's 106th Street and East Drive entrance. You'd better not show your face, Eli's 51-year-old owner Brian snarled as he followed the suspect seen fleeing with his own 3 dogs, 2 of which were unleashed. You killed my dog, you piece of shit. The witness, who wanted to remain anonymous and was walking his own dog at the time, told WABC that he is still shaken. There was a dog on the ground that's dead, a lot of blood around it. And there was a guy who was trying to do something to the dog and the three other dogs without leashes, pit bulls, around him. Look. First of all, the first question I have is, what is it about these people? Do they all walk their dogs at the same time?
Looks that
They're
way.
on a schedule.
Maybe. I mean, but that's neither here nor there. They need to find this guy and find out what the hell really happened here. Now, I'm not going to show anything about the guy chasing him or anything because his dog died or anything.
Yeah,
We don't know
one
what
side
really
of the
happened.
story.
I mean, right? It's one side of the story. I mean, there
He
could
could have
be
been
there could be
defending
another
his own
side
dogs.
to this.
Yeah, he could have been defending his own dogs.
Could have been. Right. I've been to New York several times. I can't see where you could keep a dog. All right. Honestly.
With all their apartments being one-room buildings.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and there's all these fucking superheroes and supervillains knocking about.
Chris.
You watch way too many fantasies.
Yeah.
No, I just pretend that I believe them.
How inspirational to implode at 1,600 feet.
And that's why you're 100 billion years old and still watch them.
No, I think you'll find that's MC. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, that's MC. He's actually older than the universe.
Man with the name of Batman.
All right.
Yeah, but MC's the one who's 100 billion years old.
On to the next story. Ohio woman refuses to remove a 9.5-foot werewolf from her yard.
So,
I love that. Okay. Scroll back up.
Why are you squatting in somebody's yard, Sharati?
I love that werewolf and its attire.
The Ohio woman
It's not-
said she has no
It's not a
plans
tire, it's a werewolf.
to remove the nearly 10-foot tall werewolf statue in her yard, despite warnings from the city. Mary Simmons of Dayton said she bought the 12.5-foot werewolf as a Halloween decoration last October and soon decided to leave it up all year.
I don't
He's
see
kind
why
of like
not.
my house mascot, Simmons told WKEF TV. I kind of look at it as a security thing. Who wants to break into a house with a 9.5-foot werewolf standing outside of it? I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, but if Sharati's driving past, she'll steal it.
That might be true. That could be true too. Simmons has been dressing the werewolf in various costumes to represent seasons and holidays. We're going to get a big Hawaiian shirt and maybe some sunglasses, she said. The werewolf, which Simmons has dubbed Paul, now has his own Facebook page with over 2,000 followers. City officials said they have no plans to further enforce the werewolf's removal at this time. Simmons said she plans to keep Phil in her. It's Phil.
Oh.
She calls him Phil. All right, in her
called
yard,
Paul.
as she has taken measures to ensure his presence is safe for the neighbors.
Did she fill it with cement?
Why are people complaining about this?
Because of its attire.
I don't want somebody
Because of
walking
its
by and
clothing.
a head falls off and it hits somebody. All right, is what she said. Look, if people want to put a gargoyle out in front of their yard, so be it. Right? Now, unless you're part of an HOA, right?
I'd find it amusing that somebody in my neighbourhood had put that on the front. I mean, yeah,
it's a conversation starter, and I absolutely I
It's
love it.
original.
It is original, and it gives character
Yeah.
to not just that house, but to the street. You know, the community.
Is it? Oh, hold on. Is this one of those communities where you've got rules and regulations?
No,
like
no,
you
it's
can't
not an
put
HOA.
baseball-
That's a homeowners association. No, it's not
Yeah.
part of the HOA. This is the city that was actually bitching about it.
Gives a fuck about the
Well,
city. Tell them to fuck themselves.
Yeah, cities are basically giant homeowners associations when you think about it.
Well, they can be. They definitely can be.
That's one thing I can't understand. We don't have them in the UK. These homeowner associations. You buy your house, right? You buy the land that it's upon, right?
Yeah.
But you can get evicted by the homeowners association.
If you are part of the homeowners association, there are people or buildings rather that aren't part of a homeowners association, and if you're lucky, you can buy homes that aren't part of a homeowners association.
From what I've heard, mostly these communities that have homeowners association, all the buildings in that area are part of it.
They are part of a group that people purchase and have a already set agreement. So when you buy the home, you're also buying it with those conditions attached already to it. You have to understand that.
I would go to court against them. I would.
They would tell you not to buy it. They would tell you don't buy the house. That's what they would say.
No,
they're not coming in after the fact. They're not having you buy the house and then after the fact tell you these are the rules.
Yeah, I know. I'd just do it to fuck with them.
we know where you would be spending the billionaire's money.
Right. Especially if I had that kind of fuck you money.
Yeah, see.
Yeah. And homeowners associations, if you buy a house that's outside of their jurisdiction, but on their
in their neighborhood,
plot, are scheming.
Yes,
they'll do anything in their they'll do anything in their power to try to get you to either join, become part of the cult, if you will, or find the hell out of you.
Well, that's because they're worried
if you
about
don't
this.
know the law.
Cops, sex toy thief
caught
pink-handed.
Sure, if I had that kind of money, the absolute fuck you money, I'd buy a house like that around them, and during the holidays, when you put your like your Christmas and Halloween ornaments out, mine would be like 1,500 candlewatt Christmas lights.
On to the next story. Enough of this. All right. Sex toy thief caught pink-handed. As police were busting him, a pink vibrator fell out of his pants of a Florida man. What a surprise. All right, we'll have another Florida story later.
Pants.
Suspected of stealing an assortment of sexual aids from a Target store. Target now sells sexual aids.
Look, that's why you send your kids to get the stationery for school.
Target can die now.
Okay. Responding to a larceny call on Monday afternoon, cops confronted David Romero, 46, as he sat in his Dodge Ram near the Target on Palm Coast, a city about 25 miles north of Daytona Beach. While the handcuffed Romero was being placed in the rear of a police cruiser, a small pink vibrator fell out of his pants. This item was later revealed to have been stolen from Target, cops reported. Target is now selling.
Oh yeah, hear about the Irish toys. Woman that had to go to the dentist because of sex toy.
So
it damaged it damaged her teeth. Apparently, she bought a vibrator and tried to give it a blowjob.
Is there a special section of Targets that I've never seen before?
Apparently.
All right, there are a number of Targets that I had been in prior to their latest, tuck-friendly for kids swimwear. But I had never even seen any kind of advertiser or anything where you had adult-themed toys in Target. I just haven't. I guess when they decided to go woke, they went all woke, man. They went full freaking bore on this.
Mm-hmm.
Why do
Just
you
wait
think people are
next year.
boycotting the hell out of them?
Hey, Nomad. Just wait till next year. Apparently, Mattel are bringing out the new range of Barbies. You know, there's single parent Barbie. There's gender fluid Barbie. There's a transsexual Barbie, which is actually just a Ken doll in a dress.
Aren't they just like rectangular pieces of plastic, and that's all they are now? There's no face to them.
Yeah.
It's a block of wood.
No, that's Brie Larson.
If they brought out a faceless Barbie, I might actually buy it just because it's a faceless Barbie. And it's creepy as hell. I'd stick it in front of my kid to make her scream.
Undoomed would love that.
Dude's probably got one for his daughter.
Probably does. Amazon shuts down customers' smart home devices after delivery driver's false racism claim. So this is serious shit here. All right, Amazon shut off a man's smart home devices for a week after a delivery driver falsely accused the customer of hurling a racial slur via a doorbell intercom. The tech giant confirmed on Thursday. Brandon Jackson.
This is all. You will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah, Brandon Jackson, who is black, said he found himself digitally exiled by the company on May 25th, less than 24 hours after an Amazon delivery driver dropped off a package at his home and reported him for being racist. The homeowner, who detailed the saga in a Medium post, said he was informed of the unwarranted lockout after contacting Amazon when he realized he couldn't interact with his smart home devices. I was told that the driver who had delivered my package reported receiving racist remarks from my Ring doorbell, Jackson said. Jackson, an engineer at Microsoft, was quick to point out flaws in the allegation, including that none of his family members were actually home when the package was dropped off. All right?
Yeah, they'll have seen the whole thing. A white guy lives here.
He then reviewed footage from various surveillance cameras set up outside his home and confirmed that no racial slur was uttered. Instead, Ufi Doorbell had issued an automated response. "Excuse me, can I help you?" Jackson said.
Oh, wait, that's a white supremacist term, that.
Issued by the black guy who owned the house.
Yeah. Oh, look at him. He's got a pale blue shirt on. It's almost white. He's got a white jacket on, right?
The gentleman up here, yeah.
Yeah. And he's holding up that phone, and while he's holding up that phone, he's making a white supremacist signal with his hand.
Don't suggest that to people like Sophie, because he'll believe it.
I know, which is the funny thing.
Jackson insisted he supported Amazon in taking precautions to protect delivery drivers, but questioned why he had to be locked out of his account for a week as an internal probe was carried out. He's not wrong about that. You could have easily... There was plenty of evidence right away that this didn't happen, number one.
Yeah.
Number two is I think it's absolute horseshit. You are going to sit up there and say, I'm going to interfere with your ability to do things you purchased? Look, if you purchased a smart home, if you purchased all these things in this, Amazon had no right, well, even if it was a racist, all right, to shut that down. They do not have that right.
Yeah, I would just replace all of the stuff in there with equivalent stuff that aren't from Amazon. Cancel my Amazon accounts.
Yes, if he was smart, that's what he would do. Right.
And this goes back to why I say I hate technology.
It's not the technology, it's what people do with it.
Yeah, they fucking suck. And yet my husband loves it so much.
Because it sucks. We're on about sex bots again, I take it.
Going back to the previous story.
No, more like AI generators.
Ah. Breaking. Baseball
Yeah.
team refuses to change their controversial name despite major backlash. Major backlash on a team that is a lower tier baseball team. The Macon
Oh, so
Bacon is here to
so
stay. The name
so
may
it's not the
sound
Dodgers.
goofy to you, but it's the actual name of a baseball team in Macon, Georgia that plays in the Coastal Plain League. Right? Now, you certainly wouldn't think that bacon as an offensive term for a sports team. If anything, it's cool to have a team named after a food or a drink item of some sort. There aren't enough of those after all. But in a letter to the Bacon baseball team, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine in
Oh, for
Washington,
fuck's
D.C.
sake!
demanded they change their name. Here are some of the key paragraphs the committees said in their thing. Macon Bacon's glorification of bacon and processed meat that raises the risk of colorectal cancer and other diseases sends the wrong message to fans.
Oh,
I urge you
bullshit!
to update the team's name to Macon Fakin Bacon to promote plant-based.
Oh, yeah, plant-based. Fuck off!
Yeah.
Bacon is basically cured pork. It's been eaten for about literally thousands of fucking years. It doesn't cause nearly the amount of fucking health risks that people nowadays associate with it.
The fact that you're living in D.C., look, why don't you leave the city? Living in D.C. lowers your life expectancy far more than eating bacon does. Just point it out there. I would have immediately responded that way. I think we got a lot of other problems than to sit up there and go, you know what?
Really,
In Macon County, Georgia, thousands of miles away from where I live, I'm going to complain.
do you know there's one thing that is guaranteed to increase your risk of cancer? Living longer.
That's
Because
true
with
too.
cancer, it's not a question of if you'll get it, it's a question of when.
Yes, that's true. That is life has a way of equaling things out.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Army fires former 5th SFAB commander following an investigation. Army Colonel Jonathan Chung has been fired as the commander of the 5th Security Force Assistance Brigade after being suspended earlier this year, service officials announced. Army Major General Don Hill, the head of the Security Forces Assistance Command, ultimately relieved Chung of command due to a loss in confidence in Colonel Chung's leadership and is based on the results of an Army Regulation 15-6 investigation. Okay.
He wasn't woke enough?
On Article 15, what this is on Article 15, which is non-judicial punishment investigation. It's part of the UCMJ. Okay. That's what they're referencing with this. Okay, so he had some kind of run-in via the UCMJ. Right?
Yeah, well, the weird things seem to be happening in officialdom. It might be that he wasn't towing the party line. You know what I mean?
It could have been that, or it could be that. I mean, some of the things that they say in this. Look at this. One of the things that they complained about down later on in the story, and it's really weird, right? Chung salutes the flag at the ceremony under this. Right? Some soldiers who objected to Chung's leadership style said that he made his subordinates listen to his podcast and answer questions afterwards. And once, during a making of a public affairs video of Chung's unit, he made two soldiers go back to the CIF, or Central Issuing Facility, because they had received tactical vests in an older camouflage pattern, explaining their gear wasn't high speed enough. Sending soldiers back to CIF because you don't match the uniform that everybody else is in during a video, a promotion video. You're going to tell me soldiers are complaining about that? Hey,
they're
dude,
not soldiers then.
You're an idiot.
It's like being the Queen's Guard and getting your commander sacked because you went on parade wearing your blue tunic when everybody else is in their red tunic.
Yeah, I don't think that's what caused this guy to get fired.
You know what I mean?
Yes, no, I totally agree, and I don't think it was because he was supposedly a bully who often blamed his subordinates for problems over which they had no control.
No, these will all be excuses to get rid of him.
Right. Well, these are the excuses after the fact. They got this investigation. Now, I do believe he did something wrong. This isn't it. Okay? I have a feeling there's something different that happened. Okay? Just pointing it out. I think that something different happened here. Okay? Which is why he got fired. And if I had to make a guess, I have a feeling it was probably of a certain nature. Let's put it that way.
Ah, right. Nature.
Yes.
Yeah,
we
all know
finding
what you mean by
yourself
nature.
in a various state of undress with the wrong individual.
Or the wrong underwear.
Okay.
I certainly hope it wasn't a Clinton.
No, I'm thinking it was probably a pink baby doll.
Well, if it was a Clinton, he's probably going to end up dead.
Hi, Jacob. Okay.
Have you seen the Clinton women? Just looking at them undressed would probably you'd probably wind up dead.
Here's one.
He was trying to strive for higher power.
Here's one right here.
It's TC.
I don't think it's TC.
It's a squirrel, isn't it?
The squirrel might be on meth.
Squirrel.
Or coffee. Too much coffee.
It's coffee. It's a Maddie squirrel.
It's a Maddie squirrel.
I was just going to say it's Maddie's child.
In a little ball. Come back out. Ah! I'm amazed that this dog didn't just rip this thing in half. I really am.
It's probably its baby brother.
It's probably a pet squirrel.
Well, I would say that it has to be a pet squirrel. But I am surprised that the dog didn't take care of it.
Some dogs are ridiculously patient.
Yeah. And that one is obviously because that squirrel. That squirrel was hopped up on something, man. Hey,
Jacob says hi to everybody.
Hello, Jacob.
They are blocking my stream because they said that they detected copyrighted audio and video on my stream.
What?
I would like to know how they've detected copyrighted video. From everything that we did, it was complete fair use.
They're blocking your stream.
Apparently, that's what it says. I got a little warning.
It's still running from what I can see.
I wonder what they're claiming is copyrighted.
It's probably because I said something about the you-know-whos.
Maybe.
The you-know-whos? That's the Native American tribe, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
The ones that
related
we like.
to them from a long time ago.
One percenters keep shopping at the dollar store. Okay. It's not showing up, so they are blocking something now. 1 percenters keep shopping at the dollar store. That Mercedes in the dollar store parking lot isn't an illusion.
No.
High
It's
join the rest of the country in flooding discount retailers such as Dollar General, Aldi grocery store, and Five Below as prices for food and staples rose. Now, with inflation half its peak, they aren't letting up. That's because the inflation hasn't actually been letting up. This idea that somehow inflation has gone down, I can tell you right now, it hasn't.
Inflation hasn't gone down since the Depression, really.
And the 1% is going to shop at cheap places because they're cheapskates, plain and simple.
How do you think they got all that money?
Prices rise, they never go down.
Yes. They will go down if you hit a depression.
Prices won't go down
if you get into a depression, and we're coming close to it.
No, prices will go up even more if you hit a depression.
No,
Because
the actual price goes down. It's just that people cannot afford it.
No,
The
the prices
value
actually
goes down.
go up as well.
There's that aspect. It depends on how people try to react to it. It will cause during the depression. What happens is you end up, depending upon how your country tries to deal with it, you end up with where the price of a piece of fruit isn't worth the cost of transporting it. Okay, so they just throw it in the trash, which is what happened in the United States during the Great Depression. Or you end up with hyperinflation like Weimar Germany.
One thing about the Depression, especially in the States, is be careful when you're walking down the financial district in New York, otherwise you'll get crushed by a falling accountant.
So having a whole bunch of plants that are edible is a good thing.
Well, that's very true. And Chris put out here, never count food and fuel into inflation. They never count food and fuel into the inflation figures. They have a separate way of doing it, but I guarantee you that the Biden administration, all right, when they said that the inflation has gone down, what they did is they added the fact that fuel prices dropped a bit this summer. It's still ridiculously high. It's still almost twice what it was when Biden took over. Okay.
Biden never took over.
Took over as president.
He never did. It was his wife and people who were running Biden. It was the voodoo priests.
Well, voodoo priests like this guy. Man runs 100 meters in 12.82 seconds while wearing high heels. And we can watch that guy real quick take off.
Rather him than me.
We're just going to talk about this. A serial record breaker from Spain added a new title to his name by running a 100-meter sprint while wearing high heels. Christian Roberto Lopez Rodriguez, 34, donned the 2.76-inch stiletto heels and ran 100 meters in 12.82 seconds.
Here's a funny thing, though. The way human beings naturally walk, especially when you don't put shoes on, you tend to walk with the balls of your feet first, and then put your heel down.
Right. When you sprint, you're almost completely on the balls of your foot, or the front part of your foot. All right. Rodriguez took the Guinness Book of World Records from Andrei Ortov, who ran the 100 meters in 14.2 seconds in 2019.
Sure, I could do it faster. She's got bionic legs.
The fuck I could. I have short legs with thick thighs, and I couldn't run anywhere.
Hold on, you've got thick thighs.
Thighs.
That's what I said.
I thought you said sides. The top part does not match the bottom. I am skinny on top, where my legs are wide.
So you're an upside down pear shape.
Yep.
That's not an unusual shape for a woman.
I wish my legs were skinnier. I really wish my legs were.
Or the top half match the bottom half.
That's part of the second half of the upgrade.
And I got very small boobies. My poor boobs. They used to be bigger.
Oh, that's your kids sucking the boobs out of you.
The reason the Biden administration was harping on the story of the sub, Hunter Biden pled guilty to federal tax crimes, all right, and took a plea deal on the gun charge. They let this guy walk. Okay?
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, has agreed to plead guilty to 2 federal misdemeanor counts, all right, of willfully failing to pay federal income taxes in the millions, I might add.
Everybody knew he would get a slap on the wrist.
Hunter Biden has also agreed to enter into a so-called pretrial diversion agreement in connection with the federal felony charge of possession of a gun by a person who is a user or addict of illegal drugs
Huh?
and also illegally filing paperwork, all right, to get the gun in the first place. These are
Well,
both
Nomad. Personally,
felony
all
crimes.
I'd give him is a couple $100 community service. Yeah, he'd have to go in at night to pick up all the litter in Central Park by himself.
The
Okay, I agree with
ridiculousness
what
of
MC
this.
just said. That's funny as hell.
Well, I'm not going to
What?
laugh. I'm going to say what the hell the CEO had a death sentence confirmed. What? Oh, you were talking about that. Well, no. The thing is though about Hunter Biden, it isn't this story. Notice this story does nothing to talk about what came out of this, where they started presenting the evidence of this guy on phones with his father sitting there while he shook down certain companies, specifically Chinese companies, to give them a payday. And they have dated this. They know what day it happened because it was the day before good old frickin' Hunter and his daddy took a trip as a vice president over to China.
Yeah, I was going to say how much you reckon his father's been profiting off his son's activities.
Oh, he's part of it. He basically he was.
He's his son. He's Hunter's boss.
He is Hunter's boss. This was all a let's sell the country out tour. And they have evidence of it. They have tapes of this. Okay? They have the records on this. And the press, well, we're just going to absolve Hunter of all the different things? Of all the different things that he's involved in, what about his father? And I'll tell you right now, if the Republicans do not do something about this, and I'm serious, you can kiss the Republican Party goodbye. Because people will never support it again. The evidence is overwhelming how much this jackass in the White House, all right, has
Nobody's
sold out
arguing
our
with you
country.
there. Did you notice that, Nomad?
What? What?
Can't
Did I
hear
notice
if you're
what?
saying anything. Nobody was
I'm
arguing with you there.
fine, Jacob. I don't need a wrench to survive in Nomad's chat.
You said you
No,
told me you
because
never
we're
want
all
a wrench, so
frightened of her.
I've never given her a wrench because she said she never wants a wrench. So I said okay.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone else gets a wrench. Shirardi's an exception because she doesn't want one. She's been. When I tried to give her one, she got belligerent. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, Shirati can mess with the big boys.
Alrighty.
I always have. I've fucked with you guys for years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don Lemon. I may not be on CNN,
that.
but I'm still a journalist. Don Lemon has returned as a host of a show for the first time since he was axed from CNN, but it wasn't a newscast. On Friday, Lemon hosted the 7th Annual Native Son Awards at the IAC building in New York and reminded the crowd, I may not be on CNN, but I'm still a journalist. No,
you never
dude.
were a journalist. You're a talking black gay guy.
He's right. John Lemon you were never a journalist. Okay,
You
were on CNN and thought that the Malaysian plane that disappeared over the Indian Ocean might have been sucked up by a micro black hole.
What?
Just put it out there.
Say that again.
If you remember,
I'm sorry,
you remember when that the Malaysian airliner disappeared over the Indian Ocean? Was flying from Australia.
That's the one they suspect that the captain committed suicide and took the passengers with him.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
where he intentionally went off the route, right?
Yep.
During their questioning of what could have happened to the plane that went missing, Don Lemon actually asked, well, could it have been swallowed up by a micro black hole?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and I doubt there's anybody there who doesn't know, a micro black hole is usually about the size of an apple atom and lasts for a millisecond, if that.
And
yes, I know I nearly said apple.
Well, and that is because we don't have a way of describing what a black hole is.
Well, we kind of do, but do you know?
Now, from a scientific standpoint, what happens at that kind of level, all right, becomes an absence of data.
We know what happens. We know what happens with a black hole on the outside. We don't know what happens on the inside. But do you know that there are micro black holes created all the fucking time on Earth? Whenever there's a thunderstorm, for example.
There are people who say that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
I believe it's been proven.
Well, no, it hasn't been because the energy is not the same, and the expected energy output from the destruction of a black hole is not wide enough. Okay, so there are examples of it with fusion more than anything else, but even then, once again, what it really comes down to is it's an absence of data and understanding, right? It's not.
Well, that's because Brent Spiner's not going to play him again.
Well, that's possibilities too. But the idea that a micro black hole is going to suck up a portion of your suck up an airliner.
No.
We would have been if these things happened the way they were lightning and they were sucking up things and taking out airliners and sucking them into microverts.
We'd know a lot more about them.
We wouldn't exist. We would have been destroyed long before we even came into existence.
Maybe you never know. Maybe he's one appeared inside Don Lennon's head and sucked his fucking brain in.
Possibly, that's a possibility. Drunken disorderly Florida man, surprise, surprise, busted while drinking Florida Man beer. Cops report. I didn't know there was a beer called Florida Man. Apparently there is. An inebriated Florida man was drinking a can of Florida Man beer when he was arrested Tuesday night for disorderly intoxication, police report. Seth Thomas, 39.
How many times do you... Hold on. How many times do you get orderly intoxication?
That's a good question. Right. Allegedly was yelling at traffic while walking on the roadway in front of the traffic and refusing to stop when he was collared by sheriff's deputies. Right.
So basically, he was
of Seminole, a city near Tampa.
So basically,
holy hell! A Florida man fucked up something again. Hi, Jensen.
Before you go, yeah, thank you. Hello, Jensen. But
hello.
Basically, he's a member of the militant branch of Just Stop Oil.
Welcome, Jensen. You came in just for the story of Florida Man drinking Florida Man beer.
He's probably just woken up.
Do you think Florida Man beer is woke?
Apparently. I just love the fact that there's literally a Florida Man beer. Something about that. Just
hey, somebody saw the memes and realised what a fucking marketing fucking goldmine that was.
Yeah, but that's literally liquid meth. If it's Florida Man, come on.
Like I said, somebody saw the memes and thought what a marketing goldmine this was.
Disturbingly, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Florida Man beer, drunk by Florida Man, replaces Bud Light, the new Bud Light.
When you look at the picture of it,
we should start a campaign for these guys.
Hold on. No, I want you to look at the picture of the beer in the glass there, right?
Oh, are you
sure?
You notice
there's a distinct difference between that and actual American beer.
Mm.
It doesn't look like lightly coloured water. It's even got a fucking head on it.
Well, American beer foams. You can't. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, but the foam disappears within a microsecond.
That does not mean. It is not.
I mean, it gets a head and then it goes shoomp.
It does not disappear within a microsecond. Believe it or not, I drink beer. Not often.
No, you don't drink beer. You drink that stuff that Americans brew.
This is Tampa Beer's. listen to this. The beer is produced by Tampa-based Cigar City Brewing.
Says so much.
All right, and is a double India Pale Ale. All right, and is brewed with nearly a criminal amount of hops and moderate bitterness. If it's a criminal amount of hops, it's not moderate bitterness. It's probably
so they've actually brewing it like we do over here, then, right, with actual hops and yeast and barley, and they actually make an actual beer.
It's brewed with yeast and barley. You just said it brewed with hops.
If you're using hops, you don't have to use beer. Yeast. Go ahead.
Okay. Under that most popular, number 1 and number 5. He literally just got rid of the image of it. So number 1 and number 5. I'd just like you to read those out, please.
You want to read out the cops section?
Just read the title. Just the title says so very, very much.
We did that story earlier. You missed it.
I swear I'm going to take the berries that are on my trees, on my freaking bushes, and the grapes on my vines, turn them into wines, put them into bottles, and then smash them into your head.
A barbed wire bat. I did that story last week.
I thought you were going to say that you're going to take them off the trees and the vines in your garden and throw them at me, in which case you become a black singer, Chuck Berry.
Boo.
Oh, dude, that even I'm gonna say that was bad.
That man made a bad joke, like always.
Damn, dude.
Talk about it.
Hey, I made one. Your husband's got to live with one.
Harry Potter themed park in Tokyo.
Bless your heart.
Shown to the media before the June 16th opening. Theme park in Tokyo, based on the blockbuster Harry Potter movie series, was shown to the media Wednesday ahead of its official opening 2 days later. Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo, the making of Harry Potter, the largest indoor Harry Potter attraction in the world, will feature a wizarding school set and props that will allow visitors to experience the behind-the-scenes production of the film's fantasy world.
Didn't the dude who played Harry Potter go like insane? Why is this?
Is that the knockoff version? Is it Harry Potter?
No, that's what we call my daughter because she has Harry Potter glasses. So I'm not going to say that you got your fucking face. Anyway.
Yeah. What do they call your daughter with the glasses?
Harry Potter and her. If I was lying, I'm dying right now. Oh, look, I'm not dead. Anyway, moving on.
She can hear us, right?
Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, what she needs to do, she wants to take her Quidditch stick and hit you with it.
Quidditch stick?
No, she wants to hit me with a lot of stuff every damn day. Anyway, why are they still making stuff? Because
what was that
dude is not relevant anymore.
Yeah. Shirati, I take it this is G we're talking about, yeah? The first one.
I have no idea what his name is.
No, your daughter, you stupid cow. If you don't know your daughter's name, I'm a bit worried. Okay. In that case, she needs to get a stick pointing at you and say Avacadabra and see what happens.
Oh, she knows the death curse. I think.
No.
It doesn't work on cyborgs. They're not really alive.
Actually, all she needs to do is she needs to learn the spell heat metal.
Yeah.
That's another good one. Yeah.
She recently had a birthday. She's now 14 and got tarot cards for her birthday.
Oh well, happy birthday, G.
Oh yeah, and a ukulele.
What's wrong with that? At least it's not a banjo.
Still learned to play a musical instrument, and she's a tiny person, so we got her a tiny instrument.
Well,
that is
step away for just a moment, folks. I'll let these guys go on for a bit.
Good choice.
Oh, that's great.
I'm not the one laughing.
I know. I'm telling them not to laugh.
Do you realize, Shirati, do you realize we're all your daughter's side?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Thank you.
You're
We're
welcome.
supporting her.
Yeah.
Poor cow. No, I'm telling you, get a stick, avacadabra, and see how
It's
your
on
mum
my
feels.
section. I'm better.
that don't
Oh,
work,
you are just an imitation of me, my sweet child.
No,
Mom.
what she needs to do, she wants to get a stick,
the ball.
particularly one with a heavy end, and use the
No.
heavy end to bonk over her mother's head a few times.
I have
Ah.
rings. I'm gonna hit her with these.
Oh, sweetheart, you can try, but you lose every time you try to fight me. Every time.
Just wait until she goes into a recharge alcove.
You're saying anytime I try to plug in to reset, try to beat me up then.
Trust me, that's what I was thinking.
Awesome. Yes. Well, anyway, no,
All right,
Mag.
I gotta go.
All right, you look after yourself.
Shopping.
What?
No, grocery shopping is done, which means it's time for me to do
Food.
taking care of the groceries and food.
Okay.
Or as your people call it, nutrient supplements.
Sure, why not? Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, G.
Oh dear.
Still
So,
here.
I know.
There she
That's
goes.
better. Yep. You love tormenting Shirati, don't you?
She enjoys it.
The worst thing is she obviously does, otherwise she'd tell you to politely remove yourself in a sexual manner.
She wouldn't say anything politely about it.
That's the problem. I'm trying to not swear here, okay? Give me a break.
Well, we gave that up. a
Well,
long
what do
time
you want?
ago.
Arm or leg?
Okay.
I am
Fair
back.
point. All right, welcome back.
Hello, back.
All right, on to the next story.
Hold on. If he's back, he won't be able to hear us because back was deaf.
Anyway.
Oh, no, that was Beethoven. Sorry.
Vegan New York City landlord refuses to rent apartments to tenants that cook meat or fish. Meat eaters need not apply. A vegan New York City landlord has listed a spacious apartment with beautiful views, but will only rent to prospective tenants who agree not to cook any meat or fish in the kitchen.
Wonder if you could you could take him to court on discrimination. Yeah, sue for discrimination against cultural discrimination.
I
For that.
can tell you no for one reason. New York. No,
Yeah.
literally New York. That is the reason.
The unusual meat ban was laid bare in an online listing for a 2 pricey one-bedroom apartments currently up for grabs in Brooklyn's Fort Greene neighborhood, the New York Times reported. The landlord, Michael Learer, was described in the listings as a wonderful vegan landlord.
There's no such thing.
But wonderful and vegan, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
so
first of all,
basically, he's an Eloy landlord, right?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now what he's doing. All right, vegans. The reason he's doing this is money. Because if he says that this is a vegan room, okay, only vegans are going to rent it. And guess what, folks? The only people who can afford to be vegans, all right,
are rich people.
Are rich. You got to be extraordinarily rich.
Yep, because of all the medical aid assistance you need.
No, you can't say that. Vegans are perfectly healthy. There's absolutely nothing wrong. They are not wasting away.
Jensen,
I'm lying, aren't I? Okay.
Stop lying. Your nose has just knocked my back gate off.
That wasn't my nose.
It had nostrils. It was your nose.
Like I said, it wasn't my nose.
If you can afford it, in a time where inflation is out of control and the food prices have tripled, and I'm not exaggerating, okay, the cost of certain food items, just regular food items like hamburger, all right, is 2.5 to almost 3 times what it was, all right, just 3 years ago. That's how much it's gone up. Okay, if you can afford to be vegan still in this day and age with the cost of their food, okay, you're that's why he's
hold on a minute. I've got correct. Yeah, what do you mean food?
Fair point. I don't eat what prey eats.
Well, not until they've eaten it first.
That's fair.
You don't eat any vegetables? Yes, I do. I'll just make sure the cow's eating it digesting it for me.
No, let's be fair. I don't like to eat vegetables, not at least until the wheelchair's been taken away. Oh, damn. Did I say it online? Oh, man.
Yeah, the hardest part about eating the vegetable is getting it out of the life support.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
also
there's
true.
a couple other stories here that are part of this. I might have to sit up here and add these.
Oh, dear.
Right? That were part of the thing. Let's go to this next one here. Tempted to taste hamburger chain's slutty vegan to unveil hooker fries.
I'm sorry. What?
It's got meat in it.
I'm still okay with that concept.
I hope that's meat because
this
it looks
one,
like meat.
this one, guilty and greasy pleasure. Hamburger chain slutty vegan, right, will be introducing a hot new menu item on June 7th. Hooker fries. A suggestive side dish contains vegan chopped Philly cheesesteak, jalapenos, bell peppers, and caramelized onions. It
I was
is
hoping
served over a bread of the brand's signature slutty fries, which are French fries sprinkled with slut dust.
In other words, meth.
I do not want to think about what slut dust is. I just don't.
It's
I
meth.
hope you're right. That's the worst part because it could be worse. Scratch, 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 scratch. Know what I'm saying?
To complete the
I'm
dish,
trying not
it's
to.
drizzled with slut sauce, spicy vegan mayo, as well as vegan provolone and cheddar cheeses.
You can't have vegan cheddar. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You cannot have vegan cheddar cheese.
I know. Comes from a can.
Okay.
So far, you guys are avoiding the words slut sauce. Why are you avoiding?
You can't have vegan slut sauce.
How many sluts
are animals. To make slut sauce, you need to turn sluts into sauce.
I'm okay with that, but you know, just say.
Do they smell like fish?
Nice one, Oz.
Probably, dude. Probably.
Hey, Sean.
And hello, Sean.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. Which makes you wonder what slut sauce is. Or more to the point, it doesn't make you wonder because we're all adults and we can use our imagination really well.
Yeah.
We might not want to.
And you get to wash it down with a Florida Man beer.
It says so very, very much.
Have a Florida Man pale ale.
What is wrong with people?
Yeah, just call it Florida Man Pale Ale. You're just thinking about the syphilis Pale Ale now, aren't you?
What's wrong with people? Did you just ask what's wrong with people? Look at this story. Tech tycoon who spends $2 million per year to retain youth uses teen son as a blood boy.
I didn't know Bill Gates had a teen son.
Without going into too much detail, I've actually done something very similar to that in one of my role-playing games.
And an anti-aging zealot who spends $2 million a year in a quest to turn back time has dragged his teenage son into being his personal blood boy. Ryan Johnson, the 45-year-old tech tycoon, all right, who wants to keep his internal organs, including his penis and rectum, functioning youthfully.
Wow.
Nomad, I think at the start of it, you mispronounced it. It's not anti-aging zealot. It's crazy bastard.
Yeah.
All right,
he's basically become the modern male Countess Bathory.
The enlisted 17-year-old Talmadge to provide blood transfusions. Bloomberg reported on Monday. At a clinic near Dallas last month, Johnson, his 70-year-old dad Richard, and Talmadge showed up for an hours-long tri-generational blood swapping treatment.
Wow.
Dad, I'm feeling kind of old here.
Yep.
It is. It's Countess fucking Bathory.
Yeah.
The Eastern European Countess who used to bathe in the blood of virgins.
Oh, yeah.
Young.
Have you? By the way, have you noticed the ad there? They're trying their level best to make Bud Light cool.
You couldn't make Bud Light cool if you stored it in liquid nitrogen.
That's the problem. They're doing their best. Wow.
So
Yes,
you
it's
wanted
not
to know
good.
what was wrong with people. I think that's a pretty good example of it. Here's
I
another
could say I've
example.
done something
Chris,
similar.
you're probably right.
Here's
Mhm.
another example. Musk and Zuckerberg's cage match pay-per-view could cost $100. Bring in over $1 billion. This would be the biggest fight in history of the world.
Hold on. Zuckerberg's the one who looks like the
A
incredibly
lizard.
skinny elf, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Keebler.
Yeah, he wouldn't last 2 minutes in a cage with Elon Musk. I'm
Well,
sorry.
supposedly he's a martial artist. Elon Musk and Mark
Yep.
Zuckerberg are
He
absolutely
doesn't look like
dead
he's strong enough to
serious
do all
about
the-
trading blows in the octagon. The fans will have to pay up if they want to watch. UFC
doesn't look
President
strong enough.
Dana
Hold on,
White
hold on,
on Thursday
no.
told TMZ News that he spoke with both billionaires about their social media beef this week and saw Zuckerberg accept a cage match challenge issued by Musk on Twitter.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, but Zuckerberg doesn't look strong enough to do fucking origami.
Yeah, hold it. Just want to say something here, guys. I have mentioned the whole two go in, one comes out for years now. They're
Yeah.
finally doing it. This is
I've
a
got-
good
I've got-
thing.
I've got a better idea. Two go in.
None come out.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's an alien robot, probably not a fair fight.
Who?
Yeah.
Zuckerberg? Hold on. Who? Musk or Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg.
That's the problem. You got Musk doing his cyberware, and you've got that explains why Shrive's
Cyborg versus
okay, no.
robot.
Yeah. It says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We all know that Shirati's favorite term is dead or alive.
So
You're
basically,
coming with me.
this is a BattleBot generational thing. Is that what we're going with?
Robot Wars Part 2.
Hey, Oz, you realise you could actually enter Robot Wars, and all you'd have to do is give Shirati a rolling pin.
No, that's far too dangerous, and you know it.
Right. Mark Zuckerberg hit me up and said, "Is he serious?" White told the outlet when the promoter reached out to Musk, the Tesla CEO, and told him, "Yeah, I'm dead serious." White said that he's already in the early stages of planning how to put on the fight, all right, but didn't hesitate to play up the excitement he expects the brawl to create. Okay.
Wow.
You gotta admit this has the public's attention, but
I
it
have to
also
admit
points out
nothing.
something else that I have been telling people about. If you really want our to regress society back a little bit, what you need to,
You know-
to bring back dueling. This is an example
Yes.
of it.
You know, I'm looking at pictures of Mark Zuckerberg right now, and those ears.
Mm-hmm.
He's Mr. Spock's illegitimate son, isn't he?
You think he's gonna sit there and do a Vulcan neck pinch? Is that what you're thinking here?
Oh, this is going to get interesting if this.
Did-
Honestly, I don't
You
think
know,
it's going to happen.
I believe that so much. I guarantee when the fight starts, you'll hear bada bada bum, bada bada bum, bada
Oh,
bada
no,
bum.
I disagree with you there. I totally disagree with you there, Jensen. This is going to happen. Because
Okay.
you know what both of them love? Money. Okay?
True.
And you
True.
got to
Where you
admit,
find out.
this will sit up. People will be paying through the nose to watch this fight.
Like, this fight is where you find out Elon Musk really is an alien. Yeah. When he starts morphing into animals and does all the super strength and can fly and stuff.
With the three
Yes,
tentacles
he
come
really-
breaking out of his back and start slapping us.
Oh no. He is the Martian Manhunter.
Horrifying thought. Give me a pair of wings now drives MC nuts. I mean, Jensen's like hell too. My life is already hell. That's not difficult.
Have you noticed she's leaving me out of this?
Yeah, and B's complaining about it. She does not want to be put out of a job making my life hell. It's her job. By the way,
By the
she
way,
said
by-
that.
By the way, if B wants to come on, she's more than welcome.
She
Oh, yeah.
can't. She's in the same room. But nice
Oh
concept.
yeah, yeah, B. Yeah, I'm on your side in that.
Yeah, of course. I don't know that'll cheer her up.
It was
but,
Batman's idea, probably, for the harpoon to put it on eBay.
Oh dear Lord! Like I say, I will be quite surprised if it happens. But there was that.
Oh, Jensen, can you ask B?
Oh,
Has he got any use for some second-hand thumb screws?
no, I can't. Sorry, I don't think I'll be able to do that. Right.
Right.
There was that streamer, something Paul or something. The guy who went to the Japanese suicide forest.
Was it Adonis?
No, Jake Paul.
No. There we go. He's actually been on WWE at SummerSlam, don't you?
No. Do you know
They've
I don't
actually had
care?
him in the wrestling. Why? I want to see him get. Can you imagine a Big Show fell on him? Literally just fell on him. That's all. He'd kill him. The guy would burst.
I could never take the Big Show
Okay.
seriously.
Yeah.
Because he was always a heel, right?
Yes.
He does not have the face of a bad guy.
I know he doesn't.
That doesn't mean you can't be a bad guy when you got a baby face.
Kind
the
of
reason we
does,
call people
especially
Babyface Nelson
No.
for a reason.
No, it kind of does, especially once you get past your 20s, because your face starts to take on the features there determined by your personality.
Elon
I
stock
just think it'd be
dumped
funny.
when he smoked a joint. Get ready to buy if he
Which,
gets KO'd.
which kind of explains why Shiraki's face looks like a robot.
I'm just gonna point out that you got to admit, if these two put this together, people will come out of the woodwork. all right,
God,
to
yes.
watch this. This will be one of the most highly anticipated fights seen around the world if it actually takes place.
And this is where you find out Elon Musk is actually king of kung fu.
And I can actually do better than that. Ready? Biden versus Trump. Blood
You
match.
know what would be interesting is if they're in a cage match, they're going at it. They're going at it back and forth, and then off from the top of the cage comes Putin.
I'm sorry, but Biden. That's not going to last 2 minutes. I mean, the bell will ring and Biden will fall over.
Not Biden.
Yeah, it'll take
Putin.
Biden 10 minutes to walk into the ring.
I mean, if you put Putin in the ring after the end of this, I mean that would just.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but let's face it, Putin's going to win because Trump will be out of breath from doing the victory lap.
This is fair. This is fair.
I gotta
argue
give
that.
Dana White credit. Dana White's a master promoter. All right, he will make $100 million on this, and the two participants will probably make around $450 million each, just from doing this.
Yeah.
But they're both at that level where they're not really bothered about making any money off it.
That's true.
Oh, no.
unfortunately.
When you get to the people at that level,
It's a grudge.
it is a grudge thing. I
grudge
agree with you, but they're not going to do this for charity. They're going to sit up there and take the money. That's who these guys are. That's how you got to understand. Both of these guys, and I've said this before. All right, these guys are interested in making money. Yeah, they're interested in themselves, but they're interested in money. These are people that are obsessed with.
Which is hilarious because Zuckerberg's basically a commie, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he very much is. He very much is a communist.
Well, he thinks he is, but he likes money too much to be a commie.
Well, that's what he's not a true he's a true commie, not a ideological commie. Okay.
Mm.
He believes in taking power for himself and dictating to people. He's a dictator wannabe. And to be honest, Musk has those tendencies as well.
I'm sorry, but every time somebody says dictator these days, I just keep thinking back to that fucking picture of that root vegetable I saw on Twitter that time.
Of course you do.
And you don't.
Thankfully, I never saw it, so no, I don't.
Oh, well, allow me to DM it to you on something.
Please don't.
Get the bleach ready.
Potato.
Mm-hmm. You will offend the Irish in me. Leave it alone.
There's an easier way to do that. Hide your gel ignite.
Since Jensen joined us late and he's missed some of these stories, let's do a little recap of a few things. First of all, we started off with the Wagner Group marching on Moscow.
Well, that's gonna go well.
He's got
Probably.
25,000 troops in his command, and they are moving with armor and artillery.
Yeah, and the problem is Putin doesn't know if he can trust the troops he's got.
And Putin has these things called nukes. These guys are marching in a large, controlled, combined area, i.e.,
He's,
well within the blast radius of said large
he's
radioactive
not going
bomb.
to nuke his own capital city.
Are you sure?
Pretty damn.
Well,
Plus, he doesn't
I
know.
hope you're right.
Seriously, he doesn't know who in the military he can trust at the moment, does he? Yeah, Nomad.
He doesn't know it. I don't think he ever really did. Let's be completely blunt here.
What Batman is saying is true. He doesn't know who he can trust. But then again,
Yeah.
the situation being what it is, all right. It could fracture what's left of the Russian Empire. All right. Like I said, Belarus has got to make a choice, and they're going to have to choose whether or not they support Putin or they go against Putin. But they can't stay in the middle. They can't stay quiet. They're going to have to make a choice.
Like I said, Jensen, Wagner's done something that Putin hasn't done. He pulled a blinder on Putin, paid his troops.
That's fair. That's fair.
The question from the risk that the Wagner Group is taking is the fact that will other people join them in support? And I don't see it right now. Do you see any of the other troops that are saying they're going to support this, or they're not going to get in the way, or they're just going to stand down?
But by definition, they're also not declaring that they're going to get in the way, are they?
Well, but
or are
Russian,
they? I don't
you
know.
don't declare things like that. It's not how the Russians act.
No, very true. Let's just see. This is one of those wait and see things. Let's see how it goes.
It is a benefit to Zelensky. I'll agree. I think that's very true. But Zelensky, at this point, with the Ukrainians, if the Ukrainians were smart at this point, they would pause all offensive operations and pull back.
Yeah.
All right, because they can only make things worse for themselves. Okay. People forget, if the Wagner Group wins, let's assume the Wagner Group wins. That guy, he wants to exterminate the Ukraine. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, like the Russians say, why argue when you can hire a sniper?
Yeah.
Okay, but this guy, this guy takes over. Let's assume he takes over, just for shits and giggles here, right? It's nuclear war becomes even more probable.
Chris, I doubt very much it's deploy.
Chris said something here. Could be a psyop to draw out the Ukrainian.
I don't think so.
Hey, I'm not going to make judgment on it right now. I think it's too up in the air to make any good decisions.
Without knowing fully, that's not a bad thing to be concerned about, because it is something a stupid idea.
It isn't a stupid idea. It is plausible, but I don't think so.
Right.
Okay.
I would agree with Batman. I don't think that's the case, but that's a plausible. That really is plausible. Right. It could be a psyop, and it still comes back to what you said, Jensen, which is wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. This is not the time to make a hasty judgment. Sorry to say, there is too many variables. A hasty judgment will only go badly, no matter how it goes.
Yeah. So we talked about that. We talked about there's these three guys walking dogs. We know there's three guys because they talked about these dog walkers, and one of the guys stabbed one of the dogs of the other guys to death, and then ran off with three pit bulls. He has three pit bulls. This is in New York City, of course.
What a shock!
Right.
Damn.
And
let's all drop bombs on.
The thing about it is you only hear the story from one side. What would cause you to pull a knife and stab somebody's pet?
If it was going after mine.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the only
the
thing I can
logical
think.
reason.
And
Yeah.
but we don't know what happened with that, so I'm kind of concerned about that. A little concerned.
We
about
also
what's
don't
going
know
on
if
with
these two have had a long-standing feud.
that.
It's
That's
also
very
fair.
true.
To be honest, no matter what, the person that stabbed the animals, unless he was defending his own animals, he deserves hung, drawn, and quartered. Just saying.
Oh, you're being very generous there, Jensen.
I know. I didn't say what I was drawing and hanging him by, though, did I?
Why are we looking through MC Nomad's Google history here?
Yeah, this is a Google
Oh,
history.
hold on, what's that? What's that one? Busty Asian Beauties.
Where's the hell's that at? I don't know. if I had that one, I want to know where it is. Damn it!
Now, you know he likes the big titty goth girls. Okay, that's his thing.
Yep.
We'll give Jensen a little playtime there. There we go, Jensen. This is all for you. You keep
know
the
that.
kitties, little kitty
I
girls.
like these.
You know that lines. I'll take you showing the line on stream, are you?
No, I'm showing the cat girl scenes.
Much
Right.
more important. Cat girls are always more important. Of course, you do realise it's not come up yet, by the way, mate. Oh no, there we go. It's literally just come up.
Come up for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
Nomad,
had to be
Man, it
patient.
took a while. Yep.
Nomad, I've got an admission to make. It's my cat.
Mhm.
He's gotten woke. He now identifies as a 13-year-old schoolgirl.
And a little fan service for Riz Murder if she ever shows up. There we go.
Mhm.
But she only gets a couple seconds.
Yeah. She's not worth any length of time. I understand completely.
All right. So anyway, but
Yeah, anyway,
the other story that we talked about, and I am kind of curious about your input on this, was the
Sorry?
the submarine. Yes, the submarine.
Oh God, the submarine. Yeah. Go on. What do you want? Well,
what is your take on this?
opinion. Okay. All
I
right.
think
I'll
I can answer this one for Jensen. He doesn't like canned food.
Right. Now, I'll actually give you sensible responses. I'm actually absolutely fucking disgusted at the way the people are reacting on TikTok and things like that with the stupid jokes they're doing about these people being killed. You can say what you like. They are still people. The thing is, okay, and just a continuation, and yes, B, really. Just as that was an instant effect, about a half hour. But anyway, I'm wondering how long it's going to take before some black woman starts coming up with this affects black women the most. After all, they're going to claim, and I quote, uno momente, right. It was apparent. It would be considered. Here we go. Only men were allowed to go. Therefore, it's obviously the patriarchy. If more whiteys were involved, they would have been rescued. Therefore, it's racism. Pakistanis were allowed to die. Therefore, it's Islamophobia. And no LGBT were allowed to go on. Therefore, it was homophobia.
Yep.
And you watch that being said.
Thing is, you discuss about what the jokes people are making.
Go
How many disasters? Yeah, the disasters where people lost their lives. Have you laughed at the jokes?
I didn't say I wouldn't laugh at the jokes. I'm saying it's just disgusting that they're being made. That's all.
It isn't. It depends why they're being made. If they're being made, as gallows humour, fair enough. But a lot of them are being made as political shots.
Yeah.
A lot of it's political fodder, and that's the sad part about it. But the thing about this, from my perspective, right, was these guys went down in a submarine that was experimental, that was made out of frickin' carbon fiber, right?
Yep.
And one of the guys who used to work for them that tried to explain to them how dangerous this was a guy who tried to tell the guy that you don't have the technology to look at this craft after one of these dives to see whether or not any flaws have developed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you need to be able to look at this. The X-rays. They said they were going to use X-ray technology, but there's no. X-ray technology has limitations to it. All right.
You need
Because
radiography, and that
well,
means you've got to take it out of the water.
you
But
can
there's another thing here for you, Nomad. It's an experimental vehicle. You know
yes.
what you don't do with an experimental vehicle? You don't use it in a commercial venture until it is no longer an experimental vehicle.
I can't disagree with that viewpoint. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
That would make
like,
sense.
experimental aircraft. How many times has it been given to an actual serving pilot to fly while it's still an experimental vehicle?
Yeah. I mean, it's a valid
Hopefully more
point. It's a
ones.
valid concern.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. I can't disagree with that viewpoint. The thing though that bothers me about this is, all right, if you know something, you need to talk about radiography. You got to understand how certain substances appear. All right.
Mhm.
Just because we have, you have X-rays. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to. It takes time to learn how to utilize these things in order to even look at the metal. And so the
If you'll
equipment that was
excuse me,
designed
I shall
today
return.
was designed to
Mhm.
look at the metal, to look for metal fatigue and metal cracking and things like that. Okay,
Yeah.
you can't use that same system. Okay, because of of how the material reacts. We have learned how the material reacts from X-rays with the metal, and how we then can utilize that to detect, okay, when there's a flaw or a crack. What we haven't done is nobody's done that with carbon fiber. Nobody's sit up here
Okay.
and sat down and said, okay, what are we looking at here? What do we expect to see? What do we see when we see small little cracking taking place? Right? We haven't done that. We haven't done anything like that. So
Yeah.
to be able to identify the flaws, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying we just haven't developed it to the point because no one thought to. Okay? Just because the technology
Fair.
works with one substance doesn't mean it's going to work on every substance that's out there without extensive testing and reconfiguring, probably using different photon energies, etc.
Yeah.
All right? And then it comes down to, okay, when is something acceptable and when isn't? When isn't it? Right?
Hmm.
There's a lot that you don't know about. And like I was saying, I'm sorry, but you if you can't look out a port and actually personally view what's going on out there,
Yeah.
what's the point of going down in the submarine if you're just going to look at a video screen,
Yeah. I agree.
right?
It
I mean,
does sort of, there's a few questions that do need to be asked there. I agree.
I mean, it's kind of the overall concept might be good, but the implementation that they were talking about, I would be, especially when you don't have a chair, you had to sit cross-legged at best for hours on end.
Yeah.
Okay, because it
Mhm.
takes an hour or so to get down to the level you need to get down to, at least 2 hours, because it was an hour
Mm.
46 minutes into the trip where they had the the
You
big
think that's
crunch.
bad?
Mhm.
You think that's bad? It also, yeah, if you needed to relieve yourself, it only had outside toilets.
You shoved your bum out the back
No,
portal and let
Oh
rip.
no,
I
you
know.
had to go
it did
outside.
have a toilet. Believe it or not, it had a toilet.
I know. I saw it. It was a box, and with a curtain to
Yeah, it was,
provide politeness.
which if the guy
Great.
had spicy curry the day before, everyone else was coughing. Okay,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh, that would not be good. Yeah, that would not be good.
Right. Just pointing out some of the intricacies, I guess,
Yeah.
to this. I mean, it's not that I'm upset that he spent the money, right, to do this.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. It's your money, your money. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not. And believe it or not, I don't hold when people are trying to find them. I don't that for a rescue in a failed rescue attempt. Obviously, futile. I
Hmm.
should say instead of failed, I should say futile rescue attempt.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that either because it would have been a great a thing if they could have rescued these people. Okay. Now there was obviously no way they could. Okay, the people were dead before they even realized they were missing. Okay?
Funny thing is, if they'd managed to rescue them, the guy who'd organised it all, he would have probably lost most of his fortune in legal fees.
Oh, they would have been sued into the middle of next month.
Oh yeah, and criminal charges as well.
He would have been sued into oblivion. He really would have, right? But then again, he's also someone who made $1 billion, so he could probably start over again. All right, if he had the wherewithal and the intention to do so and get it all back. That's how these people are. That's how these people are, right? They don't let trivial things like the loss of your entire fortune stop them.
To be honest, that's good. That shows air quotes resilience.
I agree.
The ability to take how bad things are and actually get back to a working point. That's good.
Yeah, no, and I agree. The thing is, I would be more impressed, to be honest, if they had done an adventure like what they stated the Glomar Explorer was for.
Go on.
Okay, which they had stated that the Glomar Explorer was out there to basically harvest the resources from the bottom of the ocean in the deep seas, right? Where they could pick up like the magnesium nodules that appear at I think it's around 6,000 feet or something like that.
Okay.
Right, where you can get these metals and you can start because it's
maybe maybe people are doing that and that's why the orcas are kicking off.
Personally, I just want them to actually get asteroid mining going. At that point, we actually become a viable planet again. Just saying.
James Cameron said on Monday he knew it collapsed, but it was decent cover for a crack and cheese hunter's sweetheart deal. Which that's what a lot of people accuse him of. He's not wrong about that. It was a good deal for them to avoid, and it's not the sweetheart deal that Hunter got. It's what else has been admitted to, right, as evidence of his father's. Okay. See, that's the thing that they were forced to provide, and now there's more evidence that's come out of Merrick Garland's malfeasance that's going to drag on. Like I said, if the Republicans don't do something about this, okay, they will no longer have a party. But in 2 years, there will not be a Republican Party in 2 years. They have to act now. But with regards to this guy, it was an experimental craft. I agree with Batman in the regards that, okay, it's experimental. You should not have been trying to make a business venture out of this.
Yes.
Okay. And he did. He had turned it into a business venture.
Yeah.
Right? And it does call into question the other types of experimental craft that people are using and going up into space with. Right?
Yeah.
Like Virgin Galactic.
Right? That's the thing. They're experimental craft, and Virgin Galactic, Elon Musk ships, there are no manned flights.
Yeah.
Virgin Galactic said they're putting together their first person will be next year.
Sweet.
That's if all it tests out to be safe. If it doesn't, they'll still be doing unmanned flights.
I wonder if I can volunteer.
Well, I did say unmanned, so you'd be perfectly fine.
Thanks.
So there is a number of things that they cause you to question that, but I don't. That one of the things they also said is that the Navy knew that it happened at the beginning. Why did they even bother sending out people to recover it? Look, just because you hear something go,
yep.
Okay, that's really what it sounds like.
Yep.
It sounds like a poof, right? And a gigantic, quickly.
Yeah, in that situation, in their situation, you hear a noise that is obviously not natural. You don't know what it is. You have to go and investigate it.
Correct.
You never know what it is.
Well, even though you suspect it, because it sounds like other that you've discovered before, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't necessarily indicate. It could have been just a portion of it that didn't actually take the entire pressure hole. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't have like I said, I don't have a problem with the search and what else they did, and I don't blame the Navy or anything for any of that, and I really don't even blame Biden for not saying that we'd heard a. Okay.
Yeah.
How can you blame anybody
Jackson.
apart from the idiot who took it down there?
Well, people are saying that that this whole rescue attempt, you just saw it there, was a cover up.
Yeah.
That they knew that it had imploded, but they were keeping the story alive in the media, all right, just so they didn't have to talk about Biden, Biden's son. Okay.
Yeah, that I can understand.
But you notice how fast the story disappeared? With all due respect, I'm talking about it today, but I guarantee I'm the only one talking about it today.
Yep.
Because people don't care.
I agree.
They truly don't.
Mm-hmm. They've got
that's the
bread and
sad part
circuses, mate. Bread and circuses. It most definitely applies nowadays.
Yeah.
Keep people's attention off of what you don't want them to see, and basically dangle the keys in front of them and go, "Oh, look, sparkly, sparkly."
Yeah. And bread and circuses are one of the clear signs of the decline and death of a civilization.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not like the Roman Empire collapsed after. Oh no, that's right. Just saying.
Collapsing like that is one thing. Collapsing in a nice little nuclear fireball could be something else.
Let's be fair, mate. If the Romans had access to nukes, it would have collapsed in a nuclear fireball.
Rome would.
The only difference is
the Romans had nukes. I can think that the world would be considerably different.
Yeah, most of it uninhabitable. Let's be fair.
Well, there's areas that would have been rendered uninhabitable. Yeah.
Actually, scientific studies from places that were nuked, like the testing grounds, they wouldn't be uninhabitable for that long. It was surprising how quickly these places, like these atolls where they've been testing the nukes, they're fully habitable again.
Right. Yeah, it depends on things.
Look at
I'm going to argue with that.
Nagasaki.
No, I'm going to argue there. Look at the timeline that we're talking about. We're talking the Roman era. There was no way to pass information all around the world, and superstition was a huge part of their life. If you knew that going into Area A is going to kill you, it doesn't matter if in 100 years' time people go into Area A and survive. They've survived the curse.
Well,
not the curse is broken.
Romans with nukes. Therefore, everything you just said has gone out the window. To have nukes, they would have to have a technology at least comparable to ours, which means a scientific understanding comparable to ours.
But not necessarily communication.
Even especially communication. You need the communication to get people together and to share the ideas to build a fucking nuke.
You don't share ideas. You take people and you take them as scientists. I mean,
doesn't matter. You still not gonna, even in the Manhattan Project, even with the Nazis, they all weren't in the same area. There had to be communication. There also has to be communication from areas of scientific expertise outside of what you're doing. You need the communication. You need the technology.
You need to be at a specific. You need to be at a specific technological level to be able to build them.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
so your argument there, you're arguing like Romans as they were.
Actually, I'm arguing peasants.
With technology, they wouldn't be Romans as they were.
No. Man, I'm arguing the peasants, not the Romans itself.
Even the peasants.
Part
of the reason we have this advanced technology that we have is because of social upheaval as well.
Yes.
Social upheaval which freed the peasants. The Roman peasants weren't as downtrodden as common people think. They had a lot more freedom than medieval peasants.
Oh, I believe that. I'm not
Well,
disagreeing.
if they're Roman citizens, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And anybody who lived in the Roman Empire was a Roman citizen
No,
or a
that is
slave.
not true.
No, that is true. You were either a Roman citizen or you were a slave.
I'm going to step back, eat popcorn, and let you two talk about this one.
I'm not arguing with it about, but one thing I will say is in the Roman Empire, even the slaves were fucking literate and numerate.
Many of them were. Not all of them.
Mhm.
Many of them.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
How do you think this turned out? On to the next
well,
story.
I know what the line's saying. You know, oh, look there, yeah, that takeout that you ordered has just arrived.
In a strange turn of events, an innocent baby Impala, walking meal ticket, right, walks up to a male lion and experiences its first and last encounter with the apex predator. You think? Really? You really think that what's
Wow.
going to happen?
Don't
The lion says,
tell me.
"Okay."
Don't tell me.
It's
Oh, look,
on.
Uber. Uber. That's exactly what I
Okay.
thought.
Don't tell me.
A little late.
First and last
And
encounter with
there's
that
the
apex
result.
predator. Yep. Exactly what I thought it would be.
Mhm.
Lunch.
I think it's not even lunch; it's a snack.
Yep.
It's not big enough for to be lunch.
I
This
tell
is
you
one
what
of
I
those
saw
things where they
recently.
talk about curiosity.
I was watching a thing, can't remember what, and it was showing a seagull swallowing a squirrel. Literally.
A seagull swallowing a
Yep.
squirrel?
Yeah, it was eating a live squirrel. The squirrel was still twitching as it was being swallowed. It was horrifying and fascinating at exactly the same
Yep.
time.
I've seen snakes eaten before. I know what you mean. But
Yeah.
Nomad, what you're saying there, that old saying, alter it a bit. Curiosity fed the cat.
Yeah, you know what they say?
Mhm.
Curiosity killed the cat. I think curiosity fed the cat.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's put
Right.
it this way: it will not make that mistake ever again. And any other animal watching is going to go, "Yeah, let's not make the same mistake as that son bitch."
And Joan, the mother of the Impala, is saying, "I told you."
Yep.
Oh my goodness, it's a sad state of affairs, folks. It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
This is the end result of what happened with this. I mean, it's just you see the thing coming up to it. Look at this.
There's
It's
actually
like
a poll at the there's actually a poll at the bottom of the article.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh God.
what was the poll? Would you approach a lion? No. Okay.
Only if I shot it with the tranquilizer dart beforehand and it was snoring.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here,
Only if I
kitty,
shot it with a
kitty.
50 cal and I saw the top of his head already removed.
Only if I shove a fat guy in front of me.
All right.
Okay, with that. Yep.
I mean, look at the light here. It just looks at this and it goes, and then it looks at the camera. This is you watching this? Okay.
Yeah. This is what happens if you do stupid. Learn.
Uh-oh. This is the I can get away. This is no, you can't.
Run, Forrest, run. Oh, well, not fast enough.
Yeah, Forrest ain't running that fast. I just can't.
Oh,
You gotta wonder about. So this is Mother Nature. This is what Mother Nature is really like. Okay.
yes. Oh, yes.
The lion is just resting here.
Yeah.
And this thing came up to look at it. That looks like
Yeah.
Bambi. All right, so this looks like Bambi coming up to it, and you see the lion, and it's the paw. See that paw? That paw is bigger than its head.
Yeah. That is your clue right there.
Bambi wasn't that stupid.
Yes, he was.
Mm.
Right. He had friends.
No, he wasn't.
If his friends didn't protect him, Bambi would have been food.
Yeah, there you go. Bambi wasn't that stupid. He listened to people.
Well, okay, I'll give you that. He did have that owl. And that owl did warn him about things. Failed in the end.
Mhm.
Here's another aspect of nature, though. Final story of the day.
Okay.
Halfway decent story after the poor one. Mongoose rescues friend that's caught by an eagle. A family of mongooses are forced to stand up and fight off an Africa's largest eagle in a midair as it flies off with one of its friends. Ankia Pusi, all right, a guide at the whatever game reserve in Kruger National Park in South Africa, shared her story and images on the latestsightings.com. It was a splendid morning for watching eagles feast. Apparently.
Oh yeah, Chris Snoll is 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
The last
Yep.
story, that's the perfect example of vegan mentality.
Yes.
Apart from one thing, Chris,
Mhm.
vegans don't have a mentality.
The
But,
Marshall
yeah,
eagle is one of the biggest eagles in the world with a wingspan up to 2.6 meters. That's a big friggin' bird.
Damn.
2.6 meters?
Yeah.
That's what, 8-foot wingspan?
That's well, actually, but it's about 8 foot, give or take.
Yeah, but it's messing
Yeah.
with mongoose. And
Yeah. By the
Well,
way,
the
you do know what
mongooses
that means?
are not that large, really. They're not.
No, but
mongoose,
let's
it
be
doesn't
fair,
matter.
mongoose screws with
yeah, they
culture.
beat up the most poisonous fucking snakes in the world.
Yes.
These eagles
But
hunt during
let's
the
be
day
fair,
and can eat a variety of animals like monkeys, rabbits, mongooses, and even other birds. Suddenly, the eagle's focus turned downward and started intently at a grass and a shrub. We heard the sound of an alarm of banded mongooses. Only then did we notice that their tiny shadows were moving in the grass. That's when we realized what was happening. The eagle was hunting. In an instant, the eagle swooped down, talons out. It attacked the mongoose, but the eagle missed its chance. Unperturbed, the eagle returned,
Mhm.
waiting for another opportunity. Sure enough, the mongooses were taunting it.
Yep.
Can't catch me!
Well, yeah.
Thumbing their noses at it.
Yep.
But again, it was unsuccessful. Now the mongooses are cocky. One brave mongoose, clearly unhappy with the eagle's presence, charged out of the grass. Fearlessly, it ran toward the eagle. This sounds like that stupid freaking doe that you just wanted at a ball and it just got eaten.
Come here, you flappy bastard, I'll have you.
Just as the eagle was lifting off, the rest of the mongooses rushed toward it. The eagle fought back and managed to catch the mongoose in midair. This thing leapt at
Yeah, mate.
it.
I am okay with this.
All right. They jumped in the air. All right. Just as the eagle was lifting off, the rest of the mongooses rushed toward it and tried to rescue their sibling. They jumped and ran and trying to bite and scratch the eagle. Finally, the eagle lost its grip, and the little mongoose that was caught managed to escape. I bet it didn't try to stick around.
Oh yeah, it's not going back to that neighborhood again.
Love it.
All right.
Next line. The mongooses were not done yet. They pursued the eagle until it settled in a nearby shrub. Then they began climbing the stump, attempting to bite the eagle and chase it out of their territory. I'm telling you, they are going, come here, you flappy bastard. I'm going to have you.
I bet they chase that eagle all the way back to... You know what's going to happen? They'll chase that eagle all the way back to its nest. And wait till the eagle's gone out. Then they're going to get into the nest and they're going to start throwing its eggs all over the place.
They're going to hide in there and say, come back, bitch.
If mongooses are known to raid nests
Uh,
for eggs.
Hi,
They would
Matt.
eat them.
You're so late. We're almost finished.
Yep.
Unfortunately, yes, Matt. Okay, that was the final story of the day.
Mm.
All right, I appreciate you coming on, Jensen. I appreciate Batman. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate Sharari for showing up earlier in her commentary. I do have to
Or as
update
we,
her.
or as we like to call it, tech support.
She did see. We'll have to choose a new avatar for her. Do you have any final words, Batman?
Yeah, we're finished. Go away.
What about you, Jensen? You got anything
Yes,
else?
I do. Actually, I want to say that I agree with Oz here. Is it mongooses or mongeese? And if it's gooses, why is it not mongeese? After all, a geese is a goose and geese. So shouldn't they be mongeese? Just
I
saying.
don't know. Could always Google it and find out.
I'm sorry, but I don't care because I'm an American. I'm going to butcher it and get it wrong anyway, right?
This is fair. This is fair. You can't help.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for today. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, bye, everybody.
Yeah. Go on, sod off. It's time for you to sling your hooks. We're all done over here.
And it's done.
Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to bug. Thank you for letting
Okay,
me
Bug.
on. That was entertaining.